welcome to this series of self-development, and we're talking about the pillars of self-development, the 5 pillars that you can build your self-development journey on, and that is going to be strong. And in the previous video, we've talked about 5 pillars, and the first pillar is self-awareness, the second pillar is mindset, the third one is emotional intelligence, the fourth one is capacity building, and the fifth one, which is the final one, is purpose. So we're going to be talking about self-awareness. So please, I ask that if you've not watched the previous video, please do watch it, because that's where you get the gist of what we are talking about and you'll be able to get the whole picture. Thank you. So let's just dive in. Self-awareness is knowing yourself. I mentioned that my favorite quote is, "To thy own self be true." There is no how you develop something or someone or improve someone that you do not know. Meaning that if you do not really know yourself, how can you improve yourself? How can you become the best version of yourself? So let's give an instance. For example, if you do not know the values that you stand for, you do not know if you stand for honesty, you stand for truth. If you do not know your own strengths and weaknesses, how will you be able to improve on your strength? Or how will you be able to tackle your weaknesses? Now, a lot of people are educated. A lot of people have gone to school. They've had different degrees. And then they come up with, "I don't have a job. I don't know what to do in my life." And then they feel confused and stuck. Now, the thing is one thing to have a good grade in school, but it's another thing to be actually prepared for the industry or for the market that you are aiming to go into. So having a degree is not enough. Going to school is not enough. There are some other skills that school will never teach you. School will never give it a course. Sometimes you wish that these things were taught in school, but school will not teach you. For example, your own self-awareness. No matter degrees you have, no matter the school, go to the best schools in this world, your self-awareness journey is going to be done with you. You're going to be the one to do self-assessment. So let's write down something. So the first pillar here is self-awareness. And for you to effectively be self-aware, the first thing you need to do is to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. Meaning that you have to sit yourself down and self-assess yourself. You have to ask yourself some reflective questions that if someone else had asked you, you would have taken offense, you'd have been angry. But because you're trying to understand yourself better, to be able to improve yourself, you have to ask yourself these questions. You have to ask yourself some reflective questions like, what are my strengths? My strengths. And in the same breath, what are my weaknesses? These are very important questions. Now, if you are lucky enough to have supportive people around you, people that can encourage you, people that know you well, some people would have been telling you what your strength is, which in some cases is valid. But then you still have to ask yourself these questions for yourself. How do you know your strengths? How do you know your strengths? So if I say strength, yes, what do I do effortlessly? Leslie, that's my strength. What do I enjoy doing? What do people see me do and they thank me for? These are your strengths. Things that you do with little or no effort. Now, the fact that you have strengths does not mean that your strengths cannot be improved. It just means that this is something that you have, this is something that you are good at. So I'll take myself for example. My strength is in writing, organizing. My strength is in organizing. Apart from parties, any other thing, I like organizing. I like working behind the scene, like writing. However, before we dive in further, before your strengths and weaknesses, that should be the first thing I should have talked about. You need to know your values. I'm a value person, and I believe that everybody should know their values. So we'll still come back to the strength part, but let's talk about the values. This is important. No matter who you are and what you do, what kind of job you do, what kind of career path you're on, it's important that you know your values. Who are you? Do not lie, do not be dishonest about it. You need to know your values, what you stand for, what you're willing to fight for. These things are important. Say, for example, your values could stem from, are you an honest person? Don't lie. There's nobody here. It's just you. It's just you asking a question. Just see me as your coach. So, are you an honest person? Like, does lying come easily to you? Are you an honest person? Like, it only takes a gun to your head for you to lie. So your values could be honesty. Not everybody's an honest person. Don't worry. We all lie once in a while, but at least you know within yourself that I'm honest. Do you deal with facts or sentiments? Okay. What other values do you have that when you see in people, it attracts you to people? I'll use some random values. So from there, you will give a guideline on to the kind of values you'll be able to identify for yourself. Because at the end of this episode, there'll be an exercise for you to do for yourself. So honesty is facts. Do you deal with facts or sentiments? That's one. And then another core value, because I call them core value, meaning that who you are in your core, deep within you. If all titles are stripped, if all positions are stripped, if money is not the issue, if location, settlement, and everything is not the issue, who are you in your core value? So that is what we're talking about. Who am I? So let's just say, who am I? That's how the question you ask for value is, who am I? So let's just say, who am I? Okay, so are you an honest person? Do you deal with facts or with sentiments? Or you are a biased person? Still under. Do you go by biases? Like when you see people, you judge them based on their gender, their religion, their race, their tribes? Are you that person that you have biases? You are prejudiced, yeah, or prejudiced? I don't know. Okay, still under honesty. That means how you feel. And then another core value is, are you an hardworking person? Are you ready to do the work, or you're always looking for corners? Looking for corners, looking for shortcuts, easy way out. What kind of person are you when it comes to work? What is your attitude to work? You know within yourself. Are you the person that you are willing to do the work 5-6 hours straight? You are working, or you are that person that I can only give 2 hours. I need a break. I need to go and chill. I need to go to party. Only you can answer that question. So another core value is, I'll just list them now. Are you respectful? Are you open-minded? Okay, this open-minded cross across to the next pillar as well, but it still comes to value. Because some people, so I won't talk more about this. It comes to another pillar, yeah, but it's still part of the values you have. Are you Are you a resilient? Are you resilient, resilience, parts of speech? Are you resilient? Or those values, when you see it in someone else, it attracts you. You know, the thing about value is you either possess them or you get attracted to them in other people. And that's why when you choose your friends, your circle, it reflects who you are, because you get attracted to the values that you value. Yeah, you get attracted to the values that you value. You get attracted to the traits, to the habits, to the behaviors that you respect, that you hold in high esteem. For example, you cannot be an honest and upright person and be friends with a thief. It doesn't work. You cannot be a faithful partner and your best friend is unfaithful to their partner. So that is what I mean by values. What are those things that attract you to people? What are those values that you have? And when you see it in other people, it attracts you. Meaning that this is like the core foundation that builds the circle that you find yourself in, that builds your friend circle, that build the people you relate with, and even build the kind of content you consume on social media space, the things that you know. And another thing is, this may not be the traditional value, but I like to add it to it, is, are you attracted to intelligence or intellectual conversations, intellectual minds or intellectual conversations? So your value determines who you get attracted to, the kind of friends you have, and the people you keep in your circle. And I mentioned that earlier. And so we have honesty. Are you hardworking, respectful, open-minded? Are you resilient? So, and part of honesty is, do you tell lies? Okay, we've said that. And so these are some of the values, which more values that you can, I'll attach, I think I'll just give a list at the end of this description of this video of different kind of values that you can use as a yardstick to, you know, measure yourself and, you know, tick like a box that you can tick, like, I've got this, I've got this, I've not got this, I need to work on this and this. So your core values. And then we now go back to the strengths. Yeah, we now go back to strengths that we're talking about. So let's just say this for values. Thank you. And then, so your strengths. So what are your strengths? Okay, so we're back to strengths. Oh, my handwriting is way beautiful than this. So what are your strengths? Let's just dive in. Communication. I'd like to point that in this series, or in self-development, communication is one thing that we always talk about for every of the pillars, for everything communication. If you not develop anything about yourself, you need to develop your communication skills. Regardless of what language you speak English, you speak Yoruba, you speak French, you speak Spanish, you speak Igbo or Hausa, any language that you speak, communication is important, regardless of your level of education, your age, or your gender. So this is something that we'll always talk about. It's a skill that you must have. Even if you don't have any other skill, you must have your communication. So your strength in communication. Do you convey your emotions, your feelings appropriately? Do you speak in ways and manners that people like? If you're an excellent communicator, that's a strength. That's a strength that is even marketable. It's not just a strength for office. It's a strength that is even marketable. See social media space these days. Most people that are excellent in communicating are getting views, getting brand influencing gigs and all of that. So that's that. And then your strengths. Like I said for myself, I like organizing. That's a strength for me. So if you like putting things together, organizing, working behind the scene, making everything goes well, that can also be a strength. I do not want this video to be unnecessarily long, and so I'll just list some of the strengths in the description of this video as well. So communication, organizing, your strengths as well could be, let's say, your strengths could be, for some people, crisis intervention. You are good at settling disputes. I call it the peacemakers. Is a strength too. Different kind of strength, different kind of things that you are good at, things that you do effortlessly. It could even be something like writing. Your strength could be different things. It doesn't have to be something fancy. It doesn't have to be something big, something exotic. It just has to be something that you do effortlessly, that when they wake you up, you are willing to do it. And then on the other hand, we have weaknesses. So your weakness could be anger management. The moment you get angry, nobody can talk to you. You cannot control your anger. That is a weakness that needs to be worked upon. For your strength needs to be improved. No matter how good they are, they still need to be improved. While for your weaknesses, they need to be tackled or worked upon. So your weakness as well could be laziness. It could be low self-esteem. And so on and so forth. Like that. So for you to be self-aware, you need to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And after identifying this, you need to develop a strategy to work on both of them. Okay? So that's the next thing. After identifying them, decide to work on both of them. I mentioned in the previous video that self-development is not just for work, it's not just for career. It affects your physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological. So in the next video, we'll talk more on how to honestly self-assess yourself to get the best result for self-awareness. And thank you for watching this video. Please do watch the previous video to get the full gist, and then stay tuned for the next video. Thank you. Bye.